I just left the club and I'm tipsy, so be on your way. I already know that you miss me, so you might as well stay.
Glad to have you here. It's actually
Thank
very,
you.
very, very exciting.
Thank you.
And I just to start things off, I do have just an icebreaker question for you. So I want to know, like, how does it feel to be performing at SOB's? The show is pretty much sold out too, as well. So how does that feel?
Man, it feels good. You know, this is the complete opposite side of the country. You know what I'm saying? Where I grew up, so I feel like I'm far, ways away from home, but the crowd and the love and the energy, I always feel like I'm right at home. So I'm happy to be back. It's probably like my 4th or 5th time performing here.
For sure. So for tonight's show, though, what do you want fans to take away from your show tonight?
Oh, man, that, the same way I started is the same way I'm going to finish. The same way that they met me is, if not more. It's always going to be more. It's always going to progress. It's always going to grow. And, I think that comes from me just being a student and always wanting to, further myself and challenge myself to get better.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I like that too. I love just the student part, definitely taking in, like, especially new experiences too and everything. So I feel that. So let's talk a bit about yourself then. Right. Where are you from originally?
Originally born in Long Beach, grew up in Compton, went to school in Norwalk, Santa Fe Springs. So all over the place, I'm truly from LA, so I done stayed Inglewood, now in the Valley, and just kind of been to LA, transplant all over the place.
All right. So I guess branching off of that then, what started your journey in music specifically, and how do you feel that shaped you today as an artist that you are right now?
Well, my start was in church, singing when I was 3 years old. I got videos of me singing when I was a little kid. Always being on a church program, 8 a.m. service, whether I went to sing or not. So it was kind of something that was just in me, but I grew up playing sports, and it wasn't until I graduated high school that I actually started doing music full time. So, I've been doing it since I was little, but taking it serious not until after high school.
Okay. Okay, I like it. So as far as the artist you are today, how do you feel that upbringing, how do you feel that has shaped you?
I think, growing up in church and just, you hear that in my voice. You hear the soul, you know what I mean? You hear it singing from my diaphragm, really belting out, notes and words that are actually of conviction and truth and passion, and I think with me growing up in Compton, you still get the balance of, in the streets. So it's edgy, but growing up polished, trying to make sure I got morals and values at the same time. And I think the conjunction of the two made the proper gumbo to serve to the consumers and people.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then, speaking of shaping you, as an artist that you are today, I'm not going to lie, I've read a lot about you being a very, very talented writer. So I have to ask, with so many songs that you have written for, so many artists that are definitely hits today. So from Usher and, Justin Bieber, what would be the song that first kind of started all for you? Like, what's that song that first song, I guess, you've written that solidified that, hey, I'm a writer, or I love music, this is what I need to do?
Man, I think maybe like Chris Brown, Fine China, like around that time, it really was like, we won a Grammy for the album, and it kind of solidified things. I had got some placements before then with Selena Gomez and different people, but it still was like, you know what I mean? All right, I'm out here doing it just like everybody else. But the Grammy, believe it or not, did more than what I thought it would, because people just respect it so much. And, for me, I wasn't doing music all my life. I grew up, playing football, playing sports. I was just singing in church. So, now that I realize how big of an accomplishment it is, it makes me pay a lot more attention and be grateful for, just landing on a Grammy that first time with Chris.
Yeah, definitely. And that's definitely inspirational.
Right.
Congratulations again
Thank
on
you.
that. That's huge.
Thank you.
So I'm glad I got to ask you that. So let's talk more about your album. Actually, you just dropped ReBirth 2. and I know that's definitely a follow-up from Rebirth, which is the first mixtape that you dropped from that. 32 tracks total. It's a lot. I listened to quite a bit. I'm still getting through it because I feel like I listen to it and I hear a song that I love, and I'm like, yes, I love this, and then I have to go back again. So that's just my process. But I guess what I want to ask for the album, what was the inspiration behind it?
Well, the Rebirth album in general was definitely the album that solidified me as, coming from behind the scenes and being an artist, being somebody that could put out hits, and we had I Don't Want Her on there with Problem, and that, garnished a lot of attention. And I feel like, with the R&B mood of that album at the time, 5 years ago, it just created a lane for me, that I was able to, just kind of stamp like, yo, I'm the R&B singer, I'm the new cat, what I'm saying? This is what it is, you feel me? I'm really singing, I'm really talking my shit, I'm really out here doing it. And I feel like now, 5 years later, circling back around, I knew what people would expect. I knew what people was kind of counting on, just because that one was just R&B. That one was the one that got me my fan base. That one is the one that, got people to pay attention. So I just wanted to really make the same project again on steroids. You know what I mean? I followed the same formula from number one all the way to the end. Day After Forever is my reward. The Rebirth intro, we sampled the Rebirth intro on number one. You know what I'm saying? And then it's just like, Double Entendre is the same kind of vibe as Appleberry Nana, you know what I'm saying? Then it went to I Don't Want Her, which is my single, which now number 3 is Type of Way with Chris Brown. So I really just followed the Rebirth 1 formula, and people is maybe not knowing it, but I just wanted to give the people what I knew they loved the first time. It's kind of like a sequel when it's expected. You just get what you want, you get what you came for.
Exactly. I feel like you definitely did that. I feel like that formula is golden. Again, I love the album, love it. So off the album, you mentioned Type of Way. How was it recording that with Chris Brown and OG Parker? Like, how was that process?
Man, it was special, because I have been working with Chris, like we said, for so many years now, for his music, for his albums, from the Fortune album to the Fame album to the X album. And, I think it was just about timing as far as us working on something for my album, so it was a different energy, but it was the same love, the same brotherhood, and the same way that, I think that I was trying to make sure he was good with songs and whatever he needed. He was really trying to make sure I was good with everything I needed as well.
Yes. Okay. I love that. All right. So last question. Off the album, what would you say would be the song that you enjoyed recording the most? Off of Rebirth 2.
Yeah. Maybe Back It Up. I don't know. That one is like a dope R&B joint, going back and forth with my bro BJ, the Chicago kid. We probably went back on that song like 3 or 4 sessions. We would finish the song, and then I'd be in my studio sitting with it like, I'm going to just throw some more ad-libs on here. I hit him like, yo, BJ, I added some more. You might want to come through here, pull up, add some more, and leave. And I'd be like, I'm going to add some more. Just because I knew that us going back and forth like that would be so nostalgic and just reminiscent of, back in the day, just Drew Hill, Jodeci type vocals. So we really challenged ourselves to make sure it was the best that we could do.
Okay. And I'm from Chicago, so I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
hey, Chicago.
Shout out to BJ.
All right. Well, that's it. That's all I have.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Eric Bellinger. LA to NY, you already know what time it is. Every time I come through here, it's home. It's a vibe. We tear it up. I already know what's finna happen. We finna go crazy. The new album, The Rebirth 2, just dropped. It's an instant classic. And tonight, it's gonna be the first time we make magic together. SOBs. I love y'all. It's easy.
I already know that you miss